But you can get a photo in here before the segment's over. Edmund Metzold is sitting next to me. He's the director of Inspecting Carol, and talk about a fun play. And with him is Frank Leavitt, and he's in the play. And what do you play in there?
I'm playing Larry.
Larry. Oh,
slash Scrooge.
Yeah. And I'm not always sure which one I am.
You don't know who you are.
Yes.
This is a very, very funny play. I remember seeing this a while back and just laughing just so hard.
It's a wonderful, zany holiday play that just, no matter if you're in that Scrooge mode or if you're in that very happy holiday mode, it brings people together, and the merriment and the laughter, the belly laughs that they leave with are truly unforgettable. Inspecting Carol is a play about a
play within a play.
It's a play within a play. It's a small professional Midwest theater company who's trying to stay afloat, like most arts organizations.
I was going to say, what's different?
Exactly, what's different today? And they are waiting for an inspector from the National Endowment of the Arts to give them a review and to determine whether or not they're going to receive their annual funding. And at the same time, they are rehearsing for their annual cash cow, A Christmas Carol. Well, the humor and the plot unfolds.
And they kind of get people mixed up, don't they?
Yes, there's a gentleman who is a computer data program, data entry computer programmer, and he has given up his job to follow his bliss to become an actor. And so they, a case of mistaken identity, think that he is the inspector, and so they embrace him and let him make all of these crazy changes to a traditional Christmas Carol. Well, lo and behold, one thing leads to another, and the relationships within the cast, and a woman who plays Dorothy, who's been in the States for 30 years, who's an English woman who still refuses to give up some of her beliefs and things that she's been brought up on. So Larry, of course, also, he's always involved in some type of, what would you say? Not campaign, but...
yes. I know the word you're looking for, only at this age I
crusade,
don't.
Almost.
That's the word.
Crusade.
Yeah, something like that.
And
you're on a crusade.
He's always got something.
And last
There's always
year,
a project.
They wanted to let Larry go because last year he decided, because he was on this crusade for Central American civil rights for Central America, he decided to do Christmas Carol in Spanish. The entire role in Spanish. And of course, it took 4 hours because no one knew when to come in or out. And
it was brilliant, though.
Absolutely brilliant. So some of the rewrites that this gentleman, Wayne Welliker, who they mistake as the inspector, are quite, I don't want to say racy, but they're abrupt. They're a little frightening. And so as the cast is rehearsing and reading this, they're like, I don't think this is very politically correct. So needless to say, it's great, zany laughter after laughter. If your stomach doesn't hurt from laughter on the way out, then I didn't do something right.
The holidays, I like to see something that makes me laugh and makes me feel good when I leave, and it seems like all the plays we've talked about today are the ones that are going to do it, and I recommend you see all of them.
Great array.
Absolutely.
And is this appropropriate for all ages?
It's funny that you should ask.
It's funny I should ask that, because I always ask
because in fact it's not. Unlike the Christmas Carol at Capitol Rep, I would say that this is for young adolescents, 13 and above.
Okay.
Because there is mature content in there.
Mature, okay.
And not knowing how parents raise their children and what they expose them to at certain ages, it would be safe to say 13 would be the least.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Bottom range.
And Frank, how long have you been acting?
Oh, I've been acting for a very long time. I've been in the area for about 25 years now, and in the last 10 years I've been doing a lot of theater acting and directing and music directing.
Which I've had the great pleasure of working under his auspices as well.
Well, isn't that nice that you've kind of flip-flopped there?
Yeah.
To know, and
actually,
you know how each one of you thinks.
Right.
Except that when you're doing the job, you might not always agree.
We're on the same plane now. Plus we're collaborating also on another show.
That's right. That's right.
What other show are you collaborating?
We're doing White Christmas with
the GE Theater.
Oh,
here.
yeah, Classic Theater Guild.
Yes.
With
He's music director and I'm choreographer.
Wow. So you're, how do you do that? I mean, I don't.
We have no life.
I was going to say.
Doesn't affect us at all.
It's
At all,
like
no, no.
every
We're just
time I
kinda
think I
twitchy
would
sometimes.
love to, because I love to act, and it's like, I would love to do that. And it's like, can I take 6 weeks out of my life to do this? And I go, this isn't going to work.
Well, I tell you, speaking of not working, very quickly, I wasn't sure if the show was going to come to fruition because last year it was supposed to go on and we had to put it on the back burner because of people's conflicts of being so involved with other productions. And I was...
And I mean, think about your life, too.
Yeah. So I'm just, November 15th can't come soon enough for this show to go up to make sure that it actually happens.
Now let's see. Let's just tell you one more, and I will remind you, it's going to run the 15th through the 24th.
Correct.
Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m., Sundays at 2. Go on a matinee if you're saying, oh, I'm not sure about driving at night. Go on a matinee.
Absolutely.
And it's at the Emmanuel Friedens, and it's a nice space.
Oh yes, it's very
Nice
comfortable.
space.
It's right behind the MVP building.
Good
so
parking lot there,
yes.
so you won't have any trouble. But go see it, and I'll scan this in, and I'll remind you next week to go see it.
Please do. You
Absolutely.
won't be disappointed.
You
It's a
won't be
blast.
disappointed. Inspecting Carol is just really hilarious. It's very, very funny. You will not be disappointed.